Here I am with a brand new lesson, and you may ask why? Because I'm a teacher, not a speaker. Now, I refer to this as a Life and Science Academy because the things I learned in science could definitely be reproduced or replicated, or we could learn from it and be more successful when it comes to life. So this year I'm teaching 7th grade life science. There are a few things that define whether something is living or non-living. All living things are made up of either one or more cells. Here comes the lesson now. All living things are made up of one or more cells. That's a part of the cell theory. So all living things are made up of one or more cells, and the basic unit and structure and function of all living things is the cell. And the third part of the cell theory is that a cell comes from existing living cells. So why am I talking about cells and how cells come from existing living cells? Because cells go through a process known as reproduction. All living things go through the process of reproduction. That's one of the characteristics that define if something is living: reproduction. And when I reproduce something, for the most part, we could describe that as being able to cause to exist again. So now let's relate that to our life. I won't even say most of us, all of us have achieved some form of success. The difficulty is, how do we reproduce that? How do we create it? How do we cause that success to exist again in our lives? And you could apply that wherever, however you need when it comes to reproduction. There are actually two different forms. There's asexual and there's sexual reproduction. And I'm keeping everything in context of life science. So when there's asexual reproduction, we could simplify that and say that there's just one parent. There's a single parent, and that single parent could be a single cell organism. And what that cell does, it goes through a process of cellular division. Let's look at asexual reproduction. That's when you have a single cell organism and it duplicates everything that it contains, and then it divides and it produces other identical cells. We achieve some level of success. Sometimes we just have to keep it going. For me, I'm approaching 2 years of running every single day, rise and grind. So every single day, even if I don't get a good workout in, I'm running. This week, I'm going to hit 2 years straight of running every single day. I've seen levels of success. I may not have achieved the highest level. I'm down over 70 pounds. I saw success and I kept replicating it. There's another form of reproduction, and that's sexual reproduction. And that's when you have two parents. So you have the mixing of genetic information. There's more diversity. You have traits from what would be considered the mother and one considered the father. So there's a mixture. Different traits will be expressed. So in both cases, reproduction takes place. We have something new being formed. We have something that did not exist, but it now exists through reproduction. There are pros and cons to both, and I'm hoping that we could apply that to our life. What are we doing on a regular basis that we honestly need to put on repeat? We seeing small signs of success. Guess what? Keep it going. Keep doing the same thing, because you are seeing success on one level, and when you keep doing it and you see identical, like asexual reproduction, identical success, and you see that growth, just like me running every day, keep going until you produce what you want to reproduce. And then we have sexual, and that deals with a variety. That deals with two different parents with different genetic information. So we're looking at diversity. It may be time to keep our goal the same, but we need to change our strategy. So our goal is in pen, but our strategy is in pencil, because we have a variety of methods. And there are pros and cons to both of them. Yes, it's good to keep doing the same thing. Hey, if it's not broken, don't fix it. If everything is identical, it could just take one obstacle, one challenge, and if we feel it's too large, it's gonna shut down everything and nothing is going to be produced. Whereas in that same situation, if we're looking at some type of biodiversity, because we're getting information from more than one area, we get resources or skill sets from more than one area, when something happens, it's easier to adapt. So our goal as humans, our goal in life, especially adults, is simply to achieve a goal. And when we get that goal, when we see success, what do we want to do? We want to see it again, so we want to reproduce. But there's different ways in which reproduction takes place, asexual and sexual. Are we going to continue doing exactly what we're doing, which could still produce, Or do we need more diversity, such as in sexual reproduction that pulls information from multiple areas? We're looking at more than one parent, because at the end of the day, we all want to reproduce the good things in our life. And at the same time, we could reverse engineer the things that aren't working. We could say, hey, I want to stop this now. I could identify what those things are so we don't reproduce the negativity in our life. We don't reproduce failures. Not that failure is a bad thing. It's just one other way for us to not to do it in the future. So remember, I'm a teacher, not a speaker, and I want you to have an amazing